Alright, now that we've learned about quadratics, we can start to begin solving them. So when you're faced with an equation such as x squared minus 10x plus 23 equals 7, you can solve for x by graphing both y equals x squared minus 10x plus 23 and y equals 7 on your calculator. Then you just need to find where the two graphs intersect and you'll solve for x. So we're going to take a look at this equation. We have x squared minus 10x plus 23 equals 7. We're trying to find values of x that make this statement true. So we're going to use our graphing calculators entirely for this. You're going to need your graphing calculator out and doing the steps with me as we figure out how to solve these equations. So how we're going to do this is we're going to break this up into two equations. We're first going to graph this one, x squared minus 10x plus 23, on our calculator. So if you grab your calculator, you're going to hit y equals. Clear out anything that's in that screen if there's anything there. Since nothing is on my screen, I can proceed. I'm going to enter in my equation. So I have x squared, and the squared button is right next to the comma by the 7, minus 10x plus 23. Hit graph. If you don't see this on your screen, you can change the window by hitting zoom and number 6. That'll give you the same screen that I should have on the calculator. Alright, so that's the graph of that quadratic. The quadratic gives us the parabola shape, and we know it's quadratic because it has the x squared, the exponent of 2. Now let's graph the other side of the equation, the 7. So we're just going to graph y equals 7, and let's see what happens. So y equals 7 is that horizontal line that goes across. So that we can find the solution for this graph where the two lines are intersecting. So this is intersecting at this point, and it's intersecting at this point. And we can see that on the graph on our calculator as well as on the graph on the paper. So what we did with our original equation was we plugged the first one in for y1, and we plugged this one in for y2 on our calculator. And now we're just looking at where they intersect. So to find the actual intersection points, there's a feature on your calculator that'll let us calculate the intersection. So if you click second, then click trace, which is right next to graph, you'll get this screen of options. We're looking for where these 2 points intersect. So there's the word right there where it says intersect that hopefully you can see is number 5. So I'm going to move my cursor down to number 5, hit enter, and now my calculator is asking me a question. It's asking me to identify the first curve that I'm looking for. So what I need to do is I need to play around by using the right and left buttons to see if I can find my cursor. And there's my cursor. It's that little spider. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm just moving it left and right now. So I'm going to move it close to the intersection point. It's not going to be exact, but I'm going to try to get as close as I can. And I'm going to hit enter and say this is my first curve. Then the calculator asks you another question about the second curve. You're going to hit enter again, and then enter one more time to guess, because now your calculator is going to guess where they intersect. And they're telling you that these points, or these graphs, intersect when x is equal to 2. So one of my solutions is x equals 2. I'm going to repeat this whole process. I'm going to hit second, trace, intersect, and I'm going to move my cursor again, but this time I'm going to go to the other intersection point because there are 2 intersections. And I'm going to hit enter 3 times when I'm close to that intersection. So I'm going to hit enter once, twice, 3 times. And my other solution is x equals 8. So those are the values when I plug them into this equation that are going to give me 7. So let's write down those steps that we can practice on these ones below. So I'm going to write the steps underneath. The first step is enter in the left side of the equation as y1. So we're going to take the left side of the equation and plug it in for y1. Step 2 will be enter in the right side as y2. Then you press graph to see the graph. After we press graph, we're going to press the second key. Then trace. Then intersect. And our fifth step is to move the cursor to the intersection point and press enter 3 times. And then this one we're going to have to repeat to get our 2 answers. Alright, so let's take a look at the first one. So what I like to do is I'm going to box the left-hand side. This is what's going in as y1, and this is what's going in as y2 on my calculator. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to clear out, hit y equals. I'm going to clear out what was in there before. So y1 is the left-hand side, so I'm going to type in it as exactly as I see it. So negative x squared plus 6x minus 4. And for y2, I'm going to enter in the right-hand side, which is negative 1. So I entered in the left-hand side as y1, enter in the right-hand side as y2, press graph. So there's the graph of the quadratic, and then there's the negative 1. To find the intersection points, I'm going to use my calculator's trace function. So I'm going to follow my steps. I'm going to press second, then trace. It's going to be second, trace, then intersect. And now I just have to move that cursor as close as I can to the intersection point and press enter 3 times. Alright, so this one's giving us a decimal answer. This is going to be x equals positive 0.55. We'll round it to the nearest hundredth place. So x equals 0.55. If we do it again, second, trace, intersect. We're going to move it over to the right. Enter, enter, enter. And we get x equals 5.45. Let's try it again. Follow the same steps. I'm going to clear out my old problem. We're going to get negative x squared minus 6x minus 5. That was my y1. And this is my y2. So on y2 spot, I'm going to put 3. Graph. I can see where the 2 lines are crossing. So I'm going to hit second, trace, intersect. And I'll move my cursor left and right. This time I'm moving to the left to where they intersect. I'm going to press enter 3 times. And this one gave me a nice number. X equals negative 4 is one of the solutions. Or second, trace, intersect, because there's 2 solutions here. We got to do it 2 times. Going to move the cursor over. Press enter 3 times. X equals -2. Those are the two solutions to that. Let's check out number 3. So number 3, same idea. I'm going to put this as y1 and this is y2 in the calculator. So I'm going to clear out what's there. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 2 and then 13. So I'm going to graph. Alright, so for this one, I see the x squared plus 2x minus 2, but I don't see that straight line going through. And the reason is the calculator is only going up to 10 on the y-axis. This is going up to 13. So I have to change my calculator's screen, and there's an easy way to do that. If you hit Window, which is right next to Zoom, these are just giving you the size of your screen. So it's going from -10 to +10 from right to left, and then -10 to +10 from up and down. So I'm just going to increase the Y max. I'm going to make it 20. This way I'm going to be able to see the whole graph. So now when I regraph it, now I can see where it's crossing. So I'm going to hit second, trace, intersect, like we've done before. Move that cursor over as close as I can and press enter 3 times. So x equals -5, or second, trace, intersect, moving it over, enter, 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 x equals 3. So sometimes you might have to play with your calculator to make the screen show you the appropriate graph. Alright, that's solving quadratics by graphing. Before you move on, just change your Windows settings back. So what we're going to hit is you're going to hit the zoom key and then number 6. Zoom 6 is going to bring it back to the original screen, so you won't have any problems with other problems. Alright, let's try some problems for homework. Good luck.